Man, oh man. Something about these Texas Rangers, dude. I hear a lot of people growing with the topic investigate 23. What are they saying? It was fraudulent. The whole run was just fake. The
Oh
Texas
man.
Rangers couldn't have been that good a few seasons ago. And it almost feels like I should, piggyback off what they're doing because what I saw this past weekend, can anybody just please step up? Anybody. I don't care who it is. Anybody want to be a hero. How in the world do you lose three of four extra inning games at home? I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you possibly, show no life past the ninth inning offensively. Because defensively, they were hanging in there for a lot of these series against, the Mariners and the Orioles. And they should have won almost all of those games. I'm not looking for perfection as a fan. Never want to say that. But those were winnable games. Quite the winnable homestand. And while it's not technically over as we record this, it's embarrassing that, you have the quote from Kevin Pillar that just released today. Kevin Pillar officially retired after getting released from the Texas Rangers, not really finding any work. And as a lot of DFA guys do, they talk about the previous team if they don't have much going on afterwards. And he's like, man, when I got to this team, a lot of these guys were, champions from the 2023 World Series roster, and they're not as close as I thought they were. Guys who were very separate during BP, guys who were, not doing stuff as much together. He thought the camaraderie would be much different. And it starts to show that way especially in the clutch, where they don't, play as a team. They don't feel as organized when it matters the most. Everyone's out there ready just to pimp a home run. I don't know what it is about this team, especially in the clutch, in extra innings. They just completely leave. They can show life, try and tie the game, but nobody has that will to try and take the lead and walk off the game. No matter if you're at the bottom of the order, no matter if you're in the heart of the order. And it was a hard watch, especially in this Mariners series because this is a team that has pretty much owned you these past, year and a half, really, or 2 years in the MLB since you won the title. And after, sweeping you earlier this season, you had a chance to really respond. Even the series across the season, and you find a way just to kind of, I hate to say it like this, but piss down your leg in a way. So hard watch for these Rangers as they're about to hit the road eventually, because they could have won a lot of these games that they ended up losing this past weekend.
Hey, I mean, I don't hate saying that they're pissing down their leg because that's exactly what they are doing. I gotta say that it really is weird to hear that Kevin Pillar quote because you're talking about this team that, and I guess it has to be with the offensive struggles because you look at some of these acquisitions from this offseason. I think a Jock Peterson would be a really good locker room guy, somebody who would bring them together. Obviously, he's not around the dugout right now or the locker room, but it's got to be the struggles. It's got to be the struggles. I mean, Josh Jung, which we'll get to in a very quickly, but I mean, like him, Corey Seager, Jake Berger, all of them were playing Fortnite and they were posting about it before the season started. And you think that that's like, I mean, to anybody who's like, I don't know if like people are like, oh, they're just playing video games together. I think if you're playing video games with your boys, with your friends, that is like one of the best ways to earn chemistry with somebody is playing Fortnite with somebody, which is kind of ironic and funny, and probably some people are rolling their eyes to hear that, but it's true. I think it's very true. You think that these people would be very close, but I guess not. I guess not. Maybe we shouldn't take Kevin Pillar's word. Maybe, or maybe we should. I don't know. But yeah, it's a very interesting season so far. A lot of things that you can't say that Chris Young, the GM, is not trying because he is
Yeah.
making lots and lots of moves, lots of subtle moves to try to fix this, try to tweak this, tweak that, and try to get this team on the right side of the road. And one of the moves today, not a little one, the big one, they optioned Josh Jung, the AAA, brought back Jake Berger from the IL. Josh Jung, he's been batting. He posted a 152 batting average with one home run, a 4.12 OPS in 26 games in June. Uh, was swinging and missing at fastballs up to 53.6% for the season, rising to 60% in June. So lots of struggles offensively for Josh Jung. Very surprising move still, regardless, especially since he was, a 2023 All-Star starter, getting demoted just 2 years later. Joe, do you make sense of this move? Do you think this was something that should have happened?
I absolutely think it should have happened. I agree completely with it. And it's hard to do this with a guy who is as old as Josh Young now. It's kind of weird to think he's almost 30 years old now. I felt like it was just yesterday where he got selected out of Texas Tech.
It
And now,
looks like he's 30 though.
yeah, he
Gotta
does, I
say.
guess. He does, I guess. But it is kind of weird how time flies, regardless. And yeah, like you said, in June, his stats are not exactly the best. And you saw it especially in that Seattle series. He couldn't hit anything high and up. He kept getting fooled on, sliders. It's just he needs a reset. And I think this is a good move from a veteran manager and Bruce Bochy, trying to send his guy down, who I thought was one of the more consistent Rangers with the offensive struggles of the past 2 seasons. He usually is the guy that I point to for being consistent in the lineup, getting timely hits with runners in scoring position, and he's really struggled with that this season. So that 412 OPS in 26 games in June that you're talking about is a little problematic for a guy who's supposed to be a veteran leader of this roster, and I completely agree with it. So I like the move, honestly.
And Boshi said that it was a move that give him like kind of a mental reset, which makes sense. You talk about his injuries and all that stuff, and talking about injuries, you talk about investigate 23, which is just makes my blood boil. Like I get one good moment, and now it looks like it was all
A
it needs to
cheating
be
scandal.
investigated because of
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, you talk about investigate 23. I say investigate the medical staff for the Texas Rangers. I don't I it's really hard for these players to get consistent. I mean, we do not you move down this lineup right now and you can't tell me that not one of them has been or you can't tell me that one of them has not been on the IL at least once so far. We just got to July of the season. I swear this used to not happen. Our lineup is like a revolving door right now. One recovers, one comes back, the other one has to go on the IL. Like, I mean, you talk about Jake Berger coming back now, Josh Jung, which wasn't an injury but gets demoted. You talk about Wyatt Langford recently going on the IL once Seager returns or something like that. It's frustrating. This shouldn't be happening, and it's hard for these players to get consistent on offense when that's happening. It's same with the pitching staff. And surprisingly, probably our most healthy pitcher this season is Jacob deGrom, which is crazy. And he's been on fire recently. I wish we could
Oh,
start him every day um, because this other starting rotation has struggled recently, which has not been the story for the season so far. But I mean, going to this now, you talk about the recent series with Seattle, the Orioles, all the struggles and emotions. Uh, there's so much going on with the Rangers and not a lot of good things in particular, but are you still holding out hope that they could at least get second in the AL West?
sure for second, but as far as, division champion hope, I'm done with it. There is no
Yeah,
way this team can, win the division. I think it's really just up to if the
yeah, I can't
Mariners
either.
catch fire or if, Houston holds on because, Houston is stretching right now. And by the way, they've been through a lot of injuries as well. Jordan Alvarez has been hurt for the majority of the year. A lot of
Mhm.
guys have been going in and out in that roster, and yet they still have found a way to win. So I'm kind of done with, the injuries that we've heard about, the training staff and then possibly not doing their part and these guys just being banged up because this team has still yet had a way, found a way to be in games late in, their contest and just don't get it done. Nobody gets the game-winning RBI. Nobody steps up when the game is tied and you have a runner at second and third. It is so interesting to watch because even with the injuries, they have a chance. They had multiple chances in these extra inning Mariners games. In the game one against Baltimore, where adults went crazy and hit that game winning or the game tying home run, you thought it was going to be over right afterwards. And no, you strike out, you ground out, and we're heading more to extras. It's still tied. And then, of course, the relief men for the Rangers are not going to hold down the game for a long time. This is just history at this point. So when that happens, the Rangers aren't going to answer because of scoring 4 runs in the top of a 12th or 11th inning, like Baltimore did. And so when that happens, you're cooked. So I just find it very sad for this team. They have a chance in a lot of these games.
Yeah, and no clutch. I mean, it really is no clutch factor, no leader really in this club to for these young guys to depend on. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that somebody like Sam Haggerty stepped up to the plate with a chance to get a walk off and just couldn't get it done in this weekend. But I mean, it's just crazy. You look at some of this stuff. I mean, the Rangers 2 games behind 500. This is actually filmed on a Wednesday, so we don't have the Wednesday game, the final rubber match against the Baltimore Orioles. But you're 2 games below 500, plus 20 run differential on the season. That's higher than the Mariners. That's higher than majority of the teams. That's ranked fifth in the AL. But you are ranked fourth in your own division. The Angels, who are 500, just a game above the Rangers, negative 45 run differential. The Rangers are winning. The Rangers I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that the Rangers are winning because they really aren't. They're 5-5 over the last 10. That's been happening. They seem to, again, one step forward, 2 steps back this entire season. But I mean, the Rangers are producing. They're having good pitching outings. They're one of the best pitching teams in the country, or in the, I was about to say country like college baseball or something. In the league, they have spurts with the offense, obviously not consistent enough, but that plus 20 and being -2 or under 2 games 500 shows that this team just hasn't produced in the clutch times at all, at all.
It makes me feel like at some point it's going to pay off the way I've been watching this team. Because I've watched a good amount of these games still. The way I've watched these guys just go with 2 outs. And when they get to 2 outs, that should be the formula for every single team they go against now, that goes against them now. Because I think they realize by now when 2 outs appears, they're not good, scoring runners in. If you're good at 2 out hitting, you're going to be a really good, roster in the MLB. And when this team gets to 2 outs, like you've seen just this past weekend alone, that right there has been the 2025 Texas Rangers. They have not been good with 2 outs.
Not even that, just 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Feels like the at bat's almost over whenever they get the 2 strikes. Maybe they'll foul off a pitch or two, but after that, they're watching one go straight down the middle or they're swinging at something outside the zone. It's been really frustrating, but hopefully they can regain it. They have a chance. They're 17-25 on the road, and they're about to go on a 3 series road trip, or three. They're playing 3 series on the road in the row, and that's going to be against San Diego. It's going to be against the Los Angeles Angels, and then the division leader, the Houston Astros, which, as you mentioned, they're really winning right now, and they're 32-14 at home. So looking at a very, very tough road series right before the All-Star break against our division leader, the Houston Astros. So um, hurts to say. I feel like every single year we go into the season and being like the Astros, they pose a threat, but this AL West is wide open, and then the Astros just end up taking it over. Again, like we already mentioned, we do not see the Astros giving up number one like the Rangers did 2 years ago. They're probably in the same position as the Rangers were 2 years ago,
Yeah.
being
I
about eight
mean,
and a half games
uh-huh.
in the lead. So,
Crazy things can happen, but the Astros usually don't choke away division leads.
hmm yeah.